Salt coated the entire inside of my mouth as I took a bite of my enchilada. I'd have choked on my own spit if the salt hadn't evaporated at all. A trail of white led from the edge of my plate across the counter, leading to an opened, knocked-over salt shaker. Fucking Evan! My mind screams at me to yell, to grab him by the arm, spank his ass, and lead him off to his bedroom. But he's only 2, and it's Christmas Eve. The clock read 1:38, and my heart broke at the realization that my husband wouldn't be home for almost 5 more hours. I could hear my 2 older boys distantly arguing in the other room, shortening my patience with every word. It wasn't long before our middle son Logan came running up to me, tears streaming down his chubby cheeks. "Mom, Aiden said Santa Claus isn't real. He said that you and Daddy are the ones that eat the cookies and put the presents under our tree." In the time it had taken him to explain the situation, Evan had disappeared from sight. I was checking the bathroom to make sure he wasn't flushing new rolls of toilet paper again when I heard the sound of glass breaking in my bedroom. I ran across the house, asking Logan to follow me so we could talk along the way. I'd hoped the baby hadn't hurt himself, but I more so hoped that he didn't make a mess of our bedroom. I found him sitting in the middle of my bed, pointing towards the middle of the floor. He'd taken my makeup mirror and thrown it across the room, shattering it upon impact with the hardwood flooring. Luckily, the broom was sitting in the corner of the room closest to me. I grabbed it, instructed Logan to wait in the doorway, and began cleaning up the mess. "All right, sweetie. First of all, as much as I hate to say it, your father and I can't afford to fake up a batch of presents for 3 kids. Think about it for a minute. When we go to the store and you ask for things, what do I say?" He looked up at me sadly before responding. "You always say not right now. We can't afford it." As much as I hoped he'd come to this conclusion, it still hurt like a bitch to hear him come out and say it. But I swallowed my pride and nodded my head convincingly as I emptied the dustpan into the garbage and tied up the bag. "Don't you worry," I assured him. "Santa saw and heard that entire conversation, and if your brother doesn't believe, well, then he just won't get as many presents as you, now will he?" "Do you promise he'll come by the house tonight, Mama?" he asked me hopefully. "Of course he will, sweetheart. Aiden thinks he knows everything, but I promise you he doesn't. I love you. Go get some rest, all right? We all have a big day tomorrow." My husband arrived home about an hour after all 3 of the boys went to bed. We ate most of the cookies, and he drank all the milk. Their presents and stockings were placed lovingly under the tree to be ready for them in the morning, or in the middle of the night if they decided to be cheeky. Aiden and Evan bounced into our bedroom before the sun even thought to rise the next morning. As excited as we were for them to open their presents, something felt off as we took our first steps into the living room. The house was freezing cold. I was shocked to see the front door cracked slightly open. My husband informed me that Logan wasn't in his room, running up to me with a piece of yellow construction paper in his hand. Our 7-year-old had drawn a picture of himself outside, riding away from our driveway in Santa's sleigh. The words "Be back soon, waiting for Santa" were scrawled sloppily in black marker across the top of the page, next to Logan's telltale signature. The paper fell from my hands as I rushed outside. Screaming his name the entire way.
"Logan? Logan!"
All dread fled my knees as I took in the scene of my front yard. Our little boy's sock prints could be seen leaning up to the middle of the yard, stopping abruptly where fresh tire tracks had ended. The Steamboat Willie Mickey Mouse that he usually had with him at bedtime lay dirty and discarded in the middle of a mud puddle. Our son had gotten a ride from someone, but unfortunately for all of us, it wasn't Santa.